Hey guys, I'm Btaylor TV and welcome to my channel. If you're not familiar, welcome to the family. Today I'm going to talk about Derrick Jaxn, of course, Pastor Jeremy Foster, and as many of you know, John Gray. These are all men that I followed in the past who really helped me at my lowest times. They all have something in common. All three of them have cheated on their wives. 2 out of 3 have left their families. Jaxn filed for divorce. He announced it sometime last week or over the weekend. Jeremy Foster completely left his entire family. And for those who are not familiar with Jeremy Foster, he is a mega church. Well, he formerly was a mega church pastor who had to step down after having an affair on his wife and children. I ran across these men, like I said, at my most vulnerable. And a lot of people are making fun of the women who believed in these men, followed them, listened to their sermons or advice. And the question today is the message still relevant no matter the messenger? And I want to take a deep dive into that and what that looks like for me personally, because regardless of how you feel about these men had millions of followers. They had many women following them, many women still needing their advice. And it's kind of like, what do you do at this point? Who do you trust at this point? Is all of this fake? Is all of this for fame, money? Like, what is going on? Are these men, do their message still matter? Has it helped you in your life? Go ahead and comment below and let me know. Has Derrick Jaxn advice ever helped you? Has Pastor John Gray advice ever helped you? I would love to know, because they definitely have gotten me through some hard times and heartbreaks of when I was at my weakest and I was desperate for help. I ran across their videos. I went to a sermon at church and they just uplifted my spirits. And I think their downfall was letting power, praise, and position overtake them. Each of them have a unique situation. These men got a lot of attention because, they healed broken people and a lot of people who are in need of help, and I was one of those people. And in the midst of the power, sometimes you have a God-like complex, when you have so many people praising you, so many people uplifting you, shouting your name, standing and applauding and praising you when they see you. Or Derrick Jaxn getting all those validations from his likes on his videos and shares from women across the world and nation. He grew his foundation into a multi-million-dollar foundation, and so have these other men. They have benefited, they have written books, and all three of them have written, I don't know about Pastor Jeremy, but I know John Gray has written several books, and they always, people put them on a pedestal. I would say that is something that is our mistake, that we should not put people on pedestals, because at the end of the day, that they are human, and I think for one of these men, has narcissistic traits, or is a narcissist, I would say. But I felt betrayed. I felt really betrayed when I first heard about John Gray. I felt betrayed and heartbroken about Pastor Jeremy, and I felt bamboozled by Derrick Jaxn. But did their message mean anything? So I'm going to take a deep dive into each of these men so y'all can kind of get familiar. So I'll start with Pastor Jeremy. For those who don't know, he was a pastor, the main lead pastor at Hope City in Houston, Texas. And if you go to Hope City, you'll see that he started with Hope City and it just grew and grew and grew. He was very funny. I felt good leaving his sermons. I think that Jeremy gave into his temptation. I think that he gave into temptation and seems like he hit a midlife crisis. He's been married to his wife for over 20 years and had 7 kids with her. And I remember him talking about having a relationship series and talking about the circumstances him and his wife has overcome, only for him to now be running around town with this new woman around Houston, as his, mistress. He has left his family for his mistress. And I'm going to tell you some signs of symptoms of a midlife crisis in men and women. According to ascendahealth.org, feeling sad or a lack of confidence, especially after a big milestone, accomplishment, or birthday, feeling bored, loss of meaning of purpose in life, feeling unfulfilled, feelings of nostalgia, excessively thinking about the past, making impulsive actions, feelings of regret, constantly comparing yourself to others. In women, these symptoms may be made worse because of menopause, and in men, emotions may become angry or irritated. Although him and his wife have had trials and tribulations where he have left his marriage before. So this is not something new that they have been through. They've made it very public, but for him to just, check out the marriage and leave this woman with no education, no job skills, no work experience over the last 20 years, being a housewife, only to leave her to take care of her 7 children as he hit a midlife crisis and running around town with this new young woman. I don't want to expose too much about that because, that's a little tricky. But yeah, although he caused pain to his family, what I learned still mattered but I would say it still matters. It still helped me, but it made me question some of the things that he said, and reevaluate some of the things that he said, because he basically contradicted his entire life. It was very disheartening, and he broke a lot of hearts. So as for John Gray, he's been caught cheating on his wife, and that was his whole spiel, is how much he loved his wife and not to fornicate and leave these toxic situations that God doesn't have for you, only for him to be the messenger to his wife. It seems like a lot of these men are preaching to their wives to leave them. John Gray has said in the past that he is dealing with some type of trauma, but at the same time, I just overall think that he lacks discipline. It's easy to cheat. It's harder to stay faithful. And an undisciplined man is a very dangerous man. And he gave in to temptation every time. He has disparaged his wife to other women and pillow talked. Instead of confiding into the church or a therapist or somebody who can help him overcome some of his challenges, he confided in other women of some of the problems. And, some of these women are a fantasy. They look at these men. They don't look at them like they're average men. They look at them as the praise and glorified number 1% of man, the it man, the man that's getting all the attention. And with that attention and healing broken people, you attract broken people because they're in need of being healed, right? So with that being said, you attract broken people with these Jezebel spirits who come in and have an agenda to destroy your family. They want what you have. They want what your wife have. They see how you praise and love on your wife, and they are broken and want that love as well. And so you have some people in the church, some people who are fans, who are really foes of your family, because they'll come in and they're already destroyed. Their family may have been destroyed, so they don't mind destroying yours. So he gave into a lot of temptation. Now, as for Derrick, this man to me seems like a narcissist. I feel like maybe he did have some good intentions in the beginning when he started off. But he quickly spiraled out of control with the grasp of attention that he was getting. He thought he was God, at one point he thought he was better than other men, and all men were trash. And that's why a lot of men were like, hey, this man is making it seem like he's the overall be all of the best of men. and that he could do no wrong, and that women could do no wrong, and all these men are trash. I remember coming across a video where he spoke about if an ex moved on with another woman, he's only moving on to get back at you. And I just did not like that. I felt like it gave into the delusion, and I stopped following Derrick when I started to heal. Once I started to heal and take accountability in the part that I played in my past relationships and why they ended, I couldn't really take him serious because it just didn't sit right with my spirit. And if you're like me, then your spirit did not stray you away. Maybe you weren't in a place to really, you really needed to hear something to kind of lift you up off the floor at your lowest point. So I can definitely understand why you probably didn't see it, but I didn't see it at first. But once I became to a place of healing, I started to call out the BS that he was, spilling, to a lot of us women. So you're not alone. I was fooled by these men at my most vulnerable too. And it's unfortunate with John Gray because John Gray could have been the next Joel Osteen. I mean, he was bringing in and drawing in huge crowds. I mean, just as big as Joel Osteen would on a Sunday, on a Wednesday and Sunday when John Gray was preaching and stuff. Like, I mean, he was probably going to be the next person up to take over Lakewood Church. So I asked a couple of ladies and I asked them the question, does the messenger matter if the message is relevant? And someone pointed out something good. First of all, we're all human, right? We all make mistakes. I don't think anybody should be held to a standard of perfection because we are human and we do fall short at times. So I do think that we should be allowed to give grace to others who deserve grace, right? But these particular men taught about life. They are the teachers, and that's like your teacher trying to teach you about math and have no clue or how to count their money, right? This is the same example of you can weigh 300 pounds, right? And say if a man, he comes to you and say, I can train you to be athletic built, right? I can train you to lose 50 pounds, right? But he is 300 pounds. But he used to be an athlete back in high school where he was at his best fit. But he no longer is taking care of himself and he weighs 300 pounds. Would you want a trainer that weighs 300 pounds or you want a trainer that have or similar to the body that you aspire to have, or they're in shape and fit and they're actually living the lifestyle that they preach, right? These are preachers, and he was a relationship guru. When you claim to be a relationship guru, that means that you are a relationship expert. That means that if you are a relationship expert, shouldn't you be an expert in your own marriage? Not saying that your marriage should be perfect, but this shouldn't be this messy. It shouldn't be this messy, and he seems like a narcissist. I'm not going to take advice from a narcissist. So no, Derrick, you may have started off well and you let that fame hit your head and you let it overtake you, and you basically are in the situation that you are. I hope that he does not make another book. Maybe he was warning us about men like him. Maybe he knew so much because he was this type of man. But if you are that type of man, then live in your truth and stop lying to us. What his downfall is that he put on a mask and he lied about what type of man that he is. That is the problem. That is why a lot of us are angry, because he came off like he was perfect and living this life as this type of man. He could have been straight up honest and said, I'm a dog, I'm a narcissist, here's what we like to do. That's it. Maybe he would probably still be taken serious. I don't know. As for John Gray, You know what? I'm not going to get into specifics about them. I'm just saying we all make mistakes, but as a pastor, coach, or guru, you have to live that life that you are preaching, because you are preaching it, but how are you going to tell me that I can do something when you can't even do it yourself? So you're an example of what my life is supposed to or aspire to be, right? The thing is, overall, there is a difference between character and making mistakes. I think John Gray, it's a character. I think that maybe it's a part of his character because of his trauma. But just because you have trauma doesn't excuse you to inflict pain on others, especially your wife. Derrick, this is not a mistake. He has done this to his wife several times, where she has caught him more times than we know cheating with other women. Therefore, this is not a mistake. This is not a man who has fallen short. This is a part of his character, okay? And as for Pastor Jeremy, I honestly think that maybe that also is a part of his character as well. It's not like he fallen short and made a mistake and trying to make things right. He is living his best life with his mistress. So I think that it's perfectly said that, yes, show grace to those who fall short and make mistakes. But when it's a constant thing, that is a part of this person's character. Let me know your thoughts below. What do you think? Character versus making mistakes? Do you think that do you even follow, other relationship gurus, or have you unfollowed them because of Derrick Jaxn? I still follow Tony Gaskins. I think he is amazing. I think RC Blake's is amazing. I'm still going to have faith that these men, until anything comes out, but when they do come out, if they do come out, God forbid, then I would reevaluate. But don't feel foolish if you follow Derrick Jaxn. Don't feel foolish if you follow Pastor John Gray and Pastor Jeremy, any of these people. But we do have to accept the fact that these people are imperfectly flawed, and it is a part of their character, and that some people don't need to be in these leadership roles if they lack discipline. Okay, when you lack discipline, you will easily fall into temptation, into the power of being a godlike complex. And I think that's what happened, that they felt like, I can preach this, but I don't have to live this. I can do whatever I want. All I got to do is ask God for forgiveness. And this does not apply to me. What I'm preaching does not apply to me, because I'm helping people. And since I'm helping people, I don't have to worry about the people that I actually hurt, because I'm helping more people than the people that I'm hurting. When you hurt the people that are closest to you, that love you, and such as your wife, who is your equal, who is your one under God, under God's covenant. If you can't protect your wife out of all people, and you hurt your wife, then that says a lot about you as well, that you are only self-absorbed, selfish, and maybe even some trace of narcissism. Let me know your thoughts below. I don't want to make this video too long. If you've missed my other videos, please like and subscribe, and check the channel out if you enjoyed as well. I look forward to speaking with you all, and I would love to hear your commentary below, and let me know what you think of either of these three men and the commentary that was given. Thank you so much. Bye.